Hello everybody and welcome back to Factorio. We have oil up and running, so now it is time to set up our blue science facility, but first we need to get the red circuit factory underway, and I've already got the rough positioning of it here, so I need to have a couple of lines on either side and in the middle, because it does take 3 different ingredients to create. I need to have some copper cables being made at the bottom, and then those will be put on their own dedicated line, and the other line will be bringing up electronic circuits and plastic bars. I'll be having the circuits come down on the outside, just like I did with the electronic green circuit factory. I also need to get some copper plates up here for the copper cable, which I do need. I think the ratio is, I think you can run 8 advanced circuit machines off of 1 copper cable maker. The advanced circuits do take quite a while to make, so I am going to have quite a bit of assemblers on this thing. Although I'm only going to set up a handful at the moment. I'm definitely not going to be using, what's that, 8 times 4 at 32. I'm not going to have 32 set up. I don't have the power for that, really. And in fact, I am going to be having some power issues later on in this episode. I'm just going to set up 8 machines for now, which honestly I could just run off of 1 copper cable machine. I could probably shut down a couple of them, but I do want to expand this out to at least 16 pretty soon here. But this is enough to get me started. Got plastic. I'm going to route the plastic. I'm going to split the plastic so half of it goes up to these machines and the other half goes to the left, towards where I'm going to eventually have my weapons factory. And I'm just going to bring this straight up, extending the main bus a little bit, straight up, and then I'm going to bring it to the left where it will meet with some electronic circuits. And I just ran out of underground splitters, so gotta go grab some more. Once I get logistics robots and all of that, then I won't be needing to go grab supplies anymore. They can just be delivered to me by flying robots, which is gonna be pretty nice. Alright, so that's kind of hooked up. Kinda. Here comes the plastic, and I just need to set up, yeah, some arms for the cable. There we go. And the cable's going. I don't know if I really need the fast inserters there, but I decided why not just put them there just in case the regular ones are a bottleneck. Maybe 2 regular ones would be better, because it is slightly more power efficient. I try to be as power efficient as I can, at least for now. But once I get batteries being created, then I could start making accumulators and solar panels, and then we could transition over to an infinite supply of power. Solar is awesome, but it does take up a lot of space. I've got 4 separate lines planned here for a bus, although I only need 3 of them really. 1 for red circuits, 1 for batteries, and 1 for blue circuits, or processing units as they're called. And now I need to make the battery making facility, which I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. The last time I did it was pretty messy, and it was just right by the oil and the sulfuric acid. So I need to bring up the acid here, and I also need to bring in some copper plates and some iron plates. The batteries are pretty easy to make. Just the copper, the iron, and the acid. That's all you need. Although the acid does take multiple steps to produce. You gotta refine the oil, then you gotta make the sulfur, then you gotta turn that into acid, and then you take that and turn it into batteries. So I guess it is a multi-step process, but really when you break it down, it's not too bad. So I think I'm just gonna do this the same way that I did the other one, and just have an input line in the middle and the output lines on either side. That seems to be working out for me. I like that kind of setup. And I sort of need to put a red arm here because the pipe for the acid input is kind of in the way. No matter which way I put it, I'm gonna have to just add an extra space and use a long-armed inserters, either for the inputs or the outputs. I decided to do it on the outputs. So here we go, hooking up some sulfuric acid. I'm gonna have to run this pipe through this nasty ore field, which I think I'm just gonna end up using console commands to delete that ore. I don't really need that much copper. There's a huge patch of copper to the west. It's even bigger than that one, and I have plenty down over near to the east of here, where I'm actually mining it out. So I think I'm just gonna clear out this copper with console commands because it's in the way. I need to expand my base. It looks ugly, and I'm definitely not gonna be able to mine that in a timely manner when I need to expand my base, which is gonna be like right now. or next episode even. All right, we got some iron and some copper coming in. The acid's already in, and now we just feed it in and set up the output lines here. Fantastic. I forgot one on the upper right battery maker. I think I just didn't put that one in the whole episode, but I'll fix that next time. That's kind of the nice thing about doing these recordings is I see the things that I miss. So I need to bring both of these back to the right and split off towards blue science. So what I'm gonna do here is split one and then have that one go left. I'm gonna split this one here as well and bring them together. And this line is gonna go to the right into the blue science factory, and the rest of these are just gonna go towards the left on their own bus for the rest of the products that I need them for. It works out pretty well. I feel like it could be done a little bit cleaner, but I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty nice. It works pretty good. Oh, and I need to set up this smart inserter factory here as well, which is kind of a shame that I can't get the nicest coverage with these power lines. I have to have a bit of overlap here, but that's all right. There we go. Smart inserters being made, placed onto this line, and now I just need to finally bring up some steel plates, like so. And then everything's good. That's it. That's the blue science input lines. Now I just need to set up the actual assemblers. Blue science takes a lot longer to make than either red or green. I think it takes twice as long to make a blue science pack than it does to make a green one. So if I want to make these at about the same rate, I need 12 assemblers for every 6 green science assemblers. I'm just going to move the pathway here over 1 so I can clear the path with an underground belt there. Not entirely necessary. I don't know how often I'm going to be walking up here, but it's just a thing of mine. I like to have clear pathways, since the last time was kind of a nightmare getting around my base. So now, as you can see, the copper is in great demand, so now we need to increase the copper input by a lot. So I'm gonna double up here at least. I'm actually gonna add a couple more than that, because now that we're making red circuits, each red circuit takes 5 electronic circuits, so we just need more copper, and we just don't have any ore coming in. So here comes some more ore. More miners, more ore, and I'm also going to upgrade the furnaces to steel ones shortly. Here we go. I'm setting up a steel furnace maker right here, just so I can get some of those going, because I kind of realized that instead of having a full line of stone furnaces, I could just have a half a line of steel furnaces, and it would literally be the same thing, except that I would be using less coal per plate smelted. So I think that's a good thing, since steel furnaces smelt at twice the rate. They have twice the pollution, but if you're using half as much of them, you'll have the same output of copper plates and the same amount of pollution, but you'll be using coal more efficiently. I think that's right. I think my logic is okay there. But if not, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. Alright, there we go. Copper's coming. And checking power. Power looks okay for now. Replacing some poles, because I still need to update that around the factory just a little bit. Get rid of those nasty wooden ones, don't need those. And the ore looks good. The input lines are saturated with ore, so now I'm going to upgrade these so they can smelt twice as fast. And hopefully that will be able to keep up with the circuit assemblers. So much copper wire is needed for all the circuits. And I'm not sure why, but transporting copper wire on belts is just horribly inefficient, apparently. I don't know why, but it's kind of like just a well-known thing in the Factorio community. It's just often said that just make copper cable where you need them, instead of placing them on their own bus. Doesn't really work very well. I did try that in like one of my very beginning worlds, and yeah. Actually, I think that was the campaign. Yeah, it was in the New Hope campaign. Didn't work out very well, but that's what happens when you're a noob. So just monitoring the inputs here. The copper plates we have enough copper now, so I'm gonna leave those alone. Circuits are flowing again. Yeah, we got pretty good saturation here. I'm gonna replace the copper line, I'm gonna replace the power lines though. Not entirely necessary. And I'm still not really able to get a nice symmetrical setup for them, which is okay, I guess. I could, but I would need an underground belt. In the name of symmetry, I will use more materials. And now I'm going to add on another extension. I'm just going to double our electronic circuit production because we're probably going to need it. Probably. I'm not sure the ratio of green circuits assemblers to red circuit assemblers that you need. I think I looked it up the other day. Or I did look it up the other day, but I can't remember what it said. I think it said 1 green circuit assembler is fast enough to feed 8 red circuit assemblers. So I can do, what did I say before? 32 red circuit assemblers, but I figured we're just gonna need more anyway eventually, so I'm gonna add on another one. Make sure that we have enough copper supply to feed them all. And now I'm about to notice a problem here. There's no plastic. So I'm gonna come down here. There's no acid either. We're out of acid and plastic. And that means we're out of petroleum gas. And that is not really a big surprise. But I could still nail out, I have lots of red and green signs, so I'm just gonna fly through that, and I crashed into my pipe there and broke my pipeline, but that's fine. So obviously I need more pump jacks. I need more oil. I need more crude oil input. So I still I have like 4 more pump jacks that I made from before. There's 1 pool over here, and I have like 9 to the right near the coast. So I have lots of nearby oil readily available, but I'm trying to get I'm trying to just incrementally I'm trying to add my inputs of resources incrementally so that I'm not overproducing any one thing, so that I'm just trying to get a feel for how much of every resource I need for each part of the game, so I know exactly, so I have a better idea of what the hell I'm doing, basically. And now I'm trying to plan the crude oil pipeline that's going to go towards the west from all of these oil resources in the east. So I need to change a few of my input lines here to make room for that. I'm just gonna route the copper down south like so. Got that done, and just change the stone input by 1 to the south because that's right where I want to put the crude oil. Don't want it right next to the pathway. I want a little bit of space just so I don't crash into it with my car and whatnot, and it's just a little bit less claustrophobic here. So there we go. I'm just gonna head that south and corner that around, and we're banging out some science. We're just tearing through the red and green science. Like, I only have 6 on green and 5 on red assemblers for the science packs, and I think those are tier 1 assembly units as well, which are even slower, which is pretty fascinating, honestly. I don't want to upgrade them yet because the blue tier 2 assembling machines take a lot more power to run, and until I get efficiency modules going, I'm not going to upgrade them yet. So I don't really have room to pipe the crude oil directly left, so I'm kind of have to go around my miners here. That's fine. I can always change that later. Once I mine out most of that copper, I can add storage tanks for crude oil. And I noticed that the top refinery isn't working. And it turns out that I don't have a pipe connected to it, and here I realize that my mines are disconnected from the power. Whoops, my bad. I've been shifting around power lines and not noticing when things are disconnected, so whoops, my bad. And I just kind of glance over at the power input lines to make sure it looks okay. The coal line is nice and saturated, and I think I'm still thinking I need more crude oil, but I kind of need more refineries. It's kind of hard for me to judge which is greater, the influx of my crude oil or the generation of petroleum by my refineries. I'm not exactly sure the rate of crude oil versus the amount of refineries that you need. But I am going to be getting advanced oil processing pretty soon anyway, which will increase the efficiency with which I make petroleum gas from the crude. But I'm going to add 4 more pump jacks here. I still got 5 more to the right that I can get, but I'm going to save that until later. Because I'm running into problems already with my crude oil refining process. And I didn't realize it at the time. I'm still thinking that I just need more crude oil, but really I need more refineries. Because I only have 1 refinery hooked up right now, so I need to make sure that since I have such a long pipeline of crude oil and petroleum gas on the bus, I'm not sure how exactly the liquids work in this game. I know they try to spread out evenly throughout all the piping that they're connected to, so it might be good to add small pumps in order to direct the flow towards where it's needed so that it's not being stored. Or I think I do want it to be stored. I don't know if I need storage, but I have enough blue science backed up right now to do advanced oil processing, so I'm going to do that, and I need to add more inserters for the other line for all of my science labs. So I got that going. I doubled the blue science assembly machines, even though I don't really have enough materials coming in. As you can see, the batteries and the circuits are really dry, and that's because the petroleum gas isn't sufficient enough for the acid and the plastic production that I need. And I think now is when I realize that the first refinery isn't connected. And I'm also just now, nope, I didn't notice it yet. Maybe I don't notice it this episode, but I did notice that after I recorded this episode. So I realized that my power is having problems, and I don't know why. And it's now becoming obvious to me that my steam setup is not optimal. The back 4 steam engines are not getting heated water enough, so their potential power performance is low. As you can see, the ones in the back are only like about a quarter, and the ones below that are about halfway. So I'm kind of being capped out a couple megawatts below where I should be capped out. So that's kind of a pain in the ass for me. It's kind of a bummer. So I need to move these down, and now I'm kind of learning that the way boilers work is that you want them in a straight line, and as the water goes through all of them, then it heats up. Because the steam engines were connected at the beginning of the boiler line, the water wasn't yet heated up enough to really power those steam engines to their full potential. So that the temperature of the water and the steam engines that were all the way up by the pumps was only about 30 degrees Celsius, or like 26 degrees even. It was pretty damn low. I need to move these down further, which kind of makes the space here not as optimal as I thought it was for steam engines, even though it looks really cool and it's nice and organized. Yeah. Not a very optimal setup, I'm realizing now. And I'm not sure how it would, like, I'm not sure if it would work well to just add more boilers on this line and then add more steam engines below that. I don't know if that would heat up the water sufficiently enough to power, say, a doubled amount of these steam engines on the same line. I think most people recommend using 1 pump for every 14 boilers for every 10 steam engines, and that would be separate lines, which means I would have to kind of split my coal into multiple inputs here. So I might actually try that. That might work if I could just rotate all these steam engines 90 degrees so that they fit more from left to right. I could probably make 40 steam engines fit in there, which is probably enough for me to get solar going. But for now, I just added a few more steam engines, a few more boilers, and not an optimum ratio, but I just need more power right now so that I can get solar panels being created. And do I realize it yet? No, I don't. But I change over to advanced oil processing anyway, which I guess that, there we go. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Connected the crude oil. Now I have the 2 refineries up and running. Great. And oil refineries take a lot of power. 410 kilowatts per refinery. So that's draining my power pretty fast. Or I mean, it's putting a strain on my power network. So why not just add another one? I need more petroleum. More petroleum. I have enough crude coming in. That's for sure. To keep all 3 of these refineries running non-stop. And it's still... I'm still having issues here. As you can see, the sulfur plant is running just fine, but the plastic is not really working that great. So I'm gonna have to do something about that next time, though. We're out of time for now. Goodbye for now.